Hey guys, welcome back. I have a tease for you today, and it's the Tease Guitar, which is a new brand established in 2022. Actually, it was established in 2021, but launched in 2022 by a gentleman named Torsten. And Torsten was kind enough to loan me this guitar for a review, which I much appreciate. So this will be an unbiased review because, again, I did not purchase this guitar. It was not gifted to me. It was simply loaned to me. And after the video, I am going to be returning this carefully back to Torsten and the Tease Guitar Company. So the name is interesting right off the bat, right? So you've got a very simplistic script writing on the front headstock of the guitar that says Tease. And it's the ST, when you can determine what that means, 2 edition. So this is the latest edition of their ST style guitar. And Tease, where did that come from? Well, Torsten is the gentleman's name that owns the company, and my understanding is that when he was young, he was called T, because in some cases people were, I guess, mispronouncing, butchering his name. It was easier to just call him T. And he attempted to name the company, I guess, Tease Guitars, but like T apostrophe S, but unfortunately there was a copyright on that already. So he decided to, and I think quite ingeniously, name the company Tease, spelt like this. So that's really a cool story. And the guitar itself is an interesting guitar. It is. Let's talk a little bit first about the company. So these folks are obviously an American company. They operate out of New York, and they have a warehouse that is located in Utah. So these guitars are import guitars. I believe they're made in a Chinese factory. Then they are housed and warehoused in a large facility in Utah, and then they are set up appropriately by the company before they're shipped out. And I believe a lot of the fine-tuning and setup actually comes out of New York and ships out of New York. And they have free shipping domestically on these products. The owner, his whole motto and mindset is around customer service, which is a refreshing thing these days, right? So on his website, which is the Tease website, and I will put that in the link below, there will be information on the company, the manufacturing, where it's manufactured, his ideas, videos that he made that are on his website, which are very interesting, around setting up a guitar, all sorts of helpful and useful tips from Torsten. But you get a clear message from him on his website that he is very, very customer focused. Now, he started the company in his retirement, just as a hobby, basically, as something to keep him going and keep him focused on and interested in. And it developed into this growing company, hence Tease, right? Now, and there is a market for well-made budget instruments, although, albeit it is saturated to some extent, right, with your Groats monoprice Indios, Donners, Leo James, the list goes on, IYV, right, the list goes on and on and on about budget brands that are out there targeting the market that Torsten is going after, which are basically students, beginners, entry-level guitar players. But I've had this guitar for a very, very short time, and in the short time that I've owned this, it clearly can be played by, a mid-tier musician, or even a gigging musician for that part. And we'll talk a little bit more about the guitar in a minute, but I'm still focused on you knowing a little bit more about the company. So his focus is around customer service, right? Because when you're starting out as a small company, that's all you really have to get people to continue to be repeat buyers, have interest, grow, etc. So his mottos are always available. And what that means is, A lot of these smaller companies, you have no way to contact them should you have any issues. Your only choice, really, alternative, is to send back a guitar, is to ship back a guitar and return it, which is the last thing that Torsten wants, right? He wants you to be happy. He wants you to have a guitar that's functional, playable, sounds good, enjoyable, and something that you're going to keep with you, right? Not ship back in a box. So he has his own phone number on his website. So a lot of times when you call a company, you're talking to him, the owner. So he is accountable, and he's vested in the process. Do the right thing, right? It's another logo you'll consistently hear from Torsten. Relational, not transactional, right? He doesn't want to just sell a bunch of these things and walk away and leave you with headaches. He wants to make sure that you're actually using and enjoying the instrument and getting something out of it. Because no matter what the price point is, these are tough times today. And whether you're spending $100, $200, or $1,000 on an instrument, it means a lot to you, right? It's money out of your pocket, and you want to make sure you maximize your investment. And he's very interested in that. So you'll get a lot of this information from the website. The guitar itself is a very, very familiar style, right? One of the most iconic styles that are out there. And it's a basswood body. What this guitar weighs is, I just weighed it, is about 7.4 pounds is what I got. So it's a fairly light guitar, right? Strats are usually in the 7.5 to 8.5 pound range. It's kind of right there. But it's not, super paper light like a Polonia guitar would, for example. It is basswood, but it's not, heavy like an alder guitar. So it's right in the middle, and it feels nice. Great feel, great contours like you'd expect from a Strat, right? You have your back plate here. Looks like it has, I never took this thing apart. That's not my gig, as you know from the channel. But it has 3 springs. Here it is. It's the bolt-on 4-screw plate on the back. The neck is a satin finish, and it is a very, very comfortable C shape. Very comfortable to play. Not paper thin, but not thick. It's right where it should be in terms of a nice, I would say, rather than full, on the shallow side of the C. Very, very comfortable to play. Very fast neck. And the fact that it's not gloss makes it even faster because there's no sticking when you're playing it. The tuners are basic, import tuners, seal tuners. I mean, if you're a gigging musician or if you're playing out with a band, you might want to upgrade the tuners if you so desire. Although, again, I've been playing this for a short while and I have had no issues. The tuners, I don't know what gear ratio they are. It's not published, but they appear to be very, very stable guitar tuners. There's no sticking, no clicking, fairly smooth, and have kept tune relatively well. What else do we want to talk about here? So it's a basswood body, weighs approximately, I weighed it 7.5 pounds. 22 medium jumbo frets. So you have room. These are not small frets. So that's a very positive thing. Obviously, it's a 25.5-inch scale, Fender scale length. The strings that ship with the guitar are 10s, and they appear to be, decent strings. I mean, you can always change strings when you get a guitar to your preference. There's no need to with this guitar. These strings are fine. They're not old. They're not crappy feeling. The fretboard itself is smooth. No issues at all with it being a dry fretboard. The typical accoutrement on the guitar, right? You have a 5-way switch. That feels very good, solid. It doesn't feel like a chintzy 5-way that sometimes, is very, there's no play, there's absolutely too much play in it. This is not the case. It's fairly stable. There's a single volume and 2 tone knobs, typical to this style guitar. It has a 3-ply pickguard, which is nice. Has 2 string trees on it. As you can see, the adjustment for the truss rod is right where it should be. The nut is described by the manufacturer as being a bone nut. I have no way to validate that, but I'm assuming it is a bone nut. And it appears to be fairly well cut. Not too deep, not too shallow. The nut looks like it was cut spot on, fitting properly. The neck joint is beautiful on this guitar. There's not a lot of spacing here where it shouldn't be. So the neck joint looks solid. The guitar was made well. The body looks like it might be 2 pieces, but again, it's hard for me to actually tell. But 2 or 3 pieces, I would say. Yeah, probably 3. But a nice grain on this guitar. I don't know what kind of basswood they used, but you can see the little figuring in the wood is actually quite nice. And I like the 3-tone sunburst, the finish that they put on this guitar. The frets. Now, that's the thing. He emphasizes on his website and his videos that these things are pre-set up before they hit you. They're supposed to be, all his guitars are supposed to be set up in-house first and then shipped. The frets on here, the fret ends on here are a bit sharp. I have to be completely transparent and honest. However, that is a minor thing. I mean, this is the winter time here in New York, and it's not unusual when these guitars ship from other places that they arrive with frets that need to be, attended to. And Torsten shows you, he has a video with a sanding block, how easy it is to just file down these frets, these sharp fret ends, and fix it. So if you're a beginner, which most of the folks are that typically watch the channel, or a hobbyist at least, or a student, or you buy something for your kid and you want to attend to it and you think, oh geez, I have to bring this to Guitar Center or a shop. You don't. It's really funny book simple, where you just take a sanding block, which is something you can buy in the dollar store. It's hard foam with sanding edges on it, and you just simply run it up and down the neck on both sides. And in short order, you have frets that are no longer sticking out as sharp. Again, fret sprout is a normal thing in the wintertime. Humidity is the guitar's enemy, or lack of, or too much, and you have issues as a result, but not a problem. So yeah, so you do have a tad bit of sharp frets on the guitar that I've noticed, but again, that can be, it's not to the point where it's shredding my hand as I'm doing this, as you can see, right? It wouldn't pass Phil McKnight's stocking test if he took his little wife's stocking and ran it up and down the guitar. You'd have a little bit of issues there. But that's the story there. 2-point trem. This has a 6-point trem, I meant to say. Vintage tremolo, as you can see. So it's got a 6-screw saddle on it. It seems to be locked down pretty good. So if you want to make this a floating tremolo, you have to do a little bit of work where you take the back plate off and back off on the spring tension to get the tremolo to function more as a floating tremolo. Right now it's locked down pretty good. For me, it's great because, again, I don't use the tremolo, and it actually increases the stability of the tuning on the guitar by doing it this way. So I have no issues whatsoever with that. The pickups are listed as being Alnico 5, I believe. Yes, Alnico 5 pickups. So, again, for my minimal playing of the guitar, they appear to be moderate output pickups, right? I've had lower output. I've had certainly a lot higher output, which typically Alnicos are not. They're more vintage sounding. The pickups are quite pleasant, actually, on this guitar. I don't see any real immediate reason, if you're gigging or recording, to change these pickups. Everybody has their own personal preferences. It's up to you. If you want, you can certainly change them. I don't find an immediate need to do that. What else do we have to talk about here? So the overall finishing of this guitar is quite good. There are no apparent dings or blems on the guitar, or glue drippings or issues with cosmetic issues. This guitar is actually very, very good with respect to that. The string height is perfect out of the box. So this thing was clearly, the action was clearly set up on this guitar. It's spot on. It's intonated. It's 1 3/4 to 2 millimeters at the 12th fret, which is where it should be in terms of string height. And again, they do this before they ship the guitar out at their warehouse in Utah, or before they ship it out of New York. So that's amazing. I really find the setup on this guitar is fantastic. The frets seem, not chintzy as well. I think they're going to be fairly durable and will hold up. So these guitars come with Let's see here if he even states it. They're probably Ernie Ball strings, I would imagine, on the guitar. If you get a custom setup and you pay extra, you probably can get, custom strings put on or whatever, but I believe they're Ernie Balls. I want to just make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, so let me put this back for 1 second. And I will show you the gig bag that ships with the guitar. So, this is it. It has Tease embroidered on the bag. Nice touch. They ship it with a gig bag. Now, this is not a super thick gig bag. It has minimal padding, but it does have some. So, it'll serve certainly as to protect your guitar from the elements, from dirt and dust and everything else. But also, if you're just going local and you want to put your guitar in your car for a setup or whatever the case is, this will work fine. If you're regularly gigging out, I would recommend you probably getting a hard case or a thicker bag to protect your guitar. But for moderate travel and things like that, this gig bag is more than sufficient. It ships in a single box. Now, that's always concerns me. Always concerns me. But I guess, I get it with a lot of these companies, that you have to save money, right? And it might be more expensive to do. But I think it's more than worth it, even though the guitar is encased in a gig bag, to ship this guitar with an outer box in addition to this. Because this simply is not enough in terms of protection. And as you can see here, from good old UPS, there is a, significant ding in the box, right? The top is ripped a bit. It doesn't take too much for this box to be destroyed and that guitar to be damaged in transit. So I would recommend that Tease in the future might want to double box their instruments. But again, it's just a suggestion. But they have their logo on the box, and there's their little motto where it says "where all the action is," which is kind of cool, right? So yeah, so that's that. Let's see. I think I covered just about everything, right, on the guitar. So let me go get the guitar back. So the main thing with budget guitars, especially for a beginner, the important things are the tuning stability. And these tuners, so far, so good, right? The tuning stability is important. Action is important, because if the guitar height and the string height is to a point where you can't even press down the strings, you're not going to play it. And it's an absolute waste, because most people buy guitars at this price point to save money, right? And if you're going to now, right out of the chute, have to spend $75 to $100 getting your guitar set up and restrung, or whatever the case might be, most people aren't going to do that. And most people don't have, quite honestly, the neophytes and the beginners don't have the skills to do it themselves. So it's important that right out of the box, you get something that's playable. This guitar, honestly, right out of the box, is playable, right? String height is beautiful, not super sharp frets. You can attend to them without an issue. Pickups, the stock pickups are fine. That's the other thing. They come with Alnicos, which most guitars at this price point ship with ceramic pickups. So the pickups right out of the chute are a little bit better than your typical pickups. And the nut. If in fact this is a bone nut, which I'm assuming, I have no reason to believe it's not, right? I just can't validate it. It's also better from a tuning stability standpoint, right? It adds to the tuning stability by having a bone rather than a plastic nut on the guitar. So you have decent tuners that come with the guitar, bone nut, Alnico pickups, set up perfectly, and I think that's kind of the main things that differentiate this company from the Groats and the Mono Prices and the Donners and the Leo James and those companies, because a lot of times they do come and need a little bit of setup work. This really doesn't need much at all. It's playable, which is interesting and very impressive. Okay, so let's talk about the guitar a little bit now. Light, 7.5 pounds, comfortable, nice thin neck. I believe it's a 12-inch radius. Let me just double check on the neck. It's a fairly flat radius. It might be a 9.5 inch. No, 12 inch. I was right. Yeah. So it's even more comfortable than your typical bullet Strat that comes with a 9.5 inch radius. If you prefer that, that's your choice. But I prefer a 12 inch radius, and this guitar is very comfortable. So let's talk about clean sounds. So I will just play some cowboy chords, plain chords, right, which I normally do, as you know, on the channel, in the various positions, so you can hear how these pickups sound. So let's start with the neck pickup. And now the neck and the middle. Just the middle pickup. Now the middle and the bridge. And finally, just the bridge pickup. So that bridge really has a lot of chime and a lot of twang that you want from your Strat style, or ST style guitar, right? A lot of ring. I really like this position with the bridge, and I like the middle position with the middle pickup and the bridge. Takes a little bit of the bite out, but still has that chimey ring sound to it, which you really kind of want from your Strat, especially if you're playing 60s and 70s style, you know, rock tunes. Really like that. And then we'll play some individual notes in the various positions, just so you can hear what the pickups sound like with individual strings and notes. I will come back with some dirt and distortion on so you can hear what the pickups sound with distortion. Okay, so we have it in the neck position. Now I'll put it with the neck and the middle pickup. Just the middle pickup. Middle and bridge. And just the bridge pickup. And some individual notes so you can hear what the guitar sounds like distorted in the various positions. So, that is the Tease ST-2 edition guitar from Tease Guitars. Guys, again, if you're looking for a budget instrument that you want, that you can just take out of the box, that's going to be playable, that's going to be, supported by a company that does pick up their telephone, answer your questions, provide you with support if you should have an issue with your guitar, and not be afraid of returning it, I think you're going to have a good experience with Tease. Right now, because they are a new company, been out for about a year, they don't have a wide distribution. So I believe you have to buy the guitar from the Tease website. I don't believe these are available currently on Amazon yet, or eBay, or Reverb, or anything like that. I think you have to go through Tease, but I am going to put a link below, and there's going to be a 5% off coupon in that link, should you want to buy one of their guitars from the website. And they also have sales going on all the time on the website where they sell, new old stock, they call them, NOS guitars, which are effectively brand new guitars. They're not the current model. And they sell them at, pretty deep discounts. The guitars normally go anywhere from a little over $100, $110, let's say, for the new old stock, to $169.99, right, for one of their, advanced ST style guitars, and then they go up a little bit from there if you want a different model with with a humbucker in it and some other features on the guitar. They might go as high as $249, but they're relatively inexpensive at the price point. And the other thing is with the guitars are that again, Torsten is a very, very straightforward, easygoing guy from my dealings with him. Honest man. So if you have any issues at all, just contact him on his website. He's got his email there, his phone number there. He'll be more than happy to help you and assist you. These guitars, again, for the price point, I think they're well made. I think you really don't have too much to lose with something like this. Odds are you're going to get a playable guitar that sounds relatively nice and is comfortable to play. That's the main thing, right? You have to enjoy and want to pick the thing up and play it. If you don't, you're at a loss. So I will put the link to Tease below. I will include the coupon code where you can save 5%. If you have any questions on these guitars, send them to me. I'll be more than happy to help you. If you like these videos, please subscribe. And as always, guys, until the next time, be well and stay safe. Take care.